Good morning, YouTube. Today I want to show you how to play MP3s on the Ferrari factory stereo in the 458.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan. This is my garage, and this channel is all about the supercar ownership experience, buying and selling them, maintaining them, DIY work on them. And today, of course, we are going to show you how to use the stereo in this car and how to get MP3s to play on this car. But if you have any sort of supercar questions, or if you're looking to buy or sell a supercar, you can go to my website, normalguysupercar.com, and check out my consultation services. I also have buyer guides. So check out all those things, and if any of those interest you, feel free to purchase them or reach out to me and we can figure something out. The factory stereo in this car is actually pretty decent, or at least the sound it produces is, but the problem ultimately is that the controls are not that great and they're kind of clunky. Now there are some little controls behind the steering wheel right here and right here that allow you to change the track, change the volume, and even change the different functions on the stereo, so that helps a lot. These functions right here are kind of slow and not always the most intuitive. So there's a few options to get music on this car, and I'm going to show you the best one in just a second. So you would think, okay, it's got Bluetooth, you can connect your phones to this thing, but it turns out you cannot actually play music through the Bluetooth. You can only use it for phone functions like talking and making phone calls. So another option is some of these cars came with this optional iPod adapter. Now, if you actually have an iPod, well, that is a good solution, and then you can play songs through your iPod. Now, there are Bluetooth adapters you can get for this thing. I tried it, and it didn't work all that well. It had a hard time connecting, and then it made the controls not really all that functional, so it was really hard to like navigate songs and things like that. What I think is the best option is we have a USB plug, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a little USB chip and actually download a bunch of MP3s onto the stereo. And I think this works better than pretty much anything else. So if you're like me, you probably have a pretty good collection of MP3s on your computer. Now the trick is you have to have DRM free MP3s. If you have DRM licensed MP3s, you might not be able to transfer it to a different device, and then you're kind of screwed. So we're going to use a little USB thumb drive. We're going to upload a bunch of MP3s onto this chip, and then we're going to put it onto the computer in the Ferrari, and then we're going to be able to play that music. Alright, so we're going to pop the thumb drive into the computer. Hey, look at that, I got it first try. It's amazing. Alright, there's my thumb drive. So first thing is, if your thumb drive is not already formatted FAT32, you need to make sure it is formatted FAT32. Alright, so we're going to open my USB drive, and now right in the root of the drive, we're going to take and copy any of the music we want. So we're going to copy Ace of Base because we want that, make sure that we can relive the early 90s. Oh yeah, like we got some really terrible stuff here. Let's make sure we copy some of the worst music I have. Alright, we've got a bunch of music loaded onto the chip, so we're going to pull it out. So before we get into the car and actually plug in the chip and download all this stuff, it is a good idea to take your trickle charger, if you have one, and plug it into the car, because downloading all this music can take sometimes like an hour. You're gonna have to leave the car on that whole time, so it's a good idea just to keep it plugged in, make sure that we're not gonna kill the battery. Alright, we're back in the Ferrari, and we'll put in the key, turn it forward, and get the car to come on. Alright, we'll wait for everything to wake up. It's playing some of my old music that I've already loaded onto the system. Alright, so before we go to the menus, we're gonna take my little chip and plug it into the USB port. Alright, I don't know if I'll be able to do this one-handed. I will try. Oop. Oh, look at that. And it immediately went to import music from USB. Please wait. And if I remember correctly, it takes a long time to populate this list. There. Alright, so we're going to hit select all. And then spin this dial to selected music and then push it to select it. And look at that. It's importing. Hooray. This is actually going decently fast. Oh wait, no, sorry, it's percentage 1 of 18. Yeah, it's going to take a long time. Alright, let's go grab a cup of coffee.
Eventually.
Alright, it's been about a half hour and it's finally done. So it automatically does create playlists. So it does have playlists that basically have everything in there. So I found that because the system is so hard to navigate, I pretty much just keep it on random and have it just shuffle through everything that's in there. If you do actually want to find music that's in here, it's kind of a pain in the butt. You can start playing around with this. So this is where it gets kind of complicated. We imported all that music, so we can actually exit this function now. There we go. And look at that. It's already playing some of my new songs, although I can't play that one because I'll get copyright strike. So let's find a song that I can play. All right. So there we go. Now we can use these control panels right here. Change song. Yeah. can't play that one. So the downside is once you got the music on here, if you click on the menu button and you can go into My Files, My Music, and there you can manage your playlist, import music, and delete music. So if you want to delete music, it's a little tricky, right? You have to kind of like go through and find the right thing for the right stuff that you want to delete. So it's just kind of not the most intuitive system, but hey, we've got music and we can now play music on the system, which is kind of nice. So like I said, I think that's kind of the easiest way to deal with music on this car. Dealing with the iPod connector and trying to monkey around with the Bluetooth connector on the iPod connector just doesn't really work all that well. Putting the music on the hard drive on the system itself seems to make it somewhat manageable, because the problem is ultimately it's the interface is just so clunky that trying to find the songs you want and do those sorts of things is kind of troublesome. Obviously, if you had an iPod, you might be able to like find music a little bit better because you're probably more used to that interface. Even then, the iPod interface is getting a little bit dated, so it's not nearly as easy as obviously having a smartphone and having a Bluetooth connection. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this and learned a little bit about 458's and how to manage the music on them. If you guys have any suggestions of things that you'd like to see me explain or show on this car, feel free to comment below and I'll take a look at it and see if it's something I can do. In the meantime, we have a ton of car stuff coming your way, so you guys are going to want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.